What is going on, everyone? It is James, aka the Comic Raider. Um, man, lots happened in this past week. Had a baby. Jason Dominic Morales is here. Also got super sick, and that was not fun. But I'm feeling a lot better today. Today was kind of the first day that I actually felt uh, not 100%, but we're getting there. Um, haven't had time to get a haircut, so my hair is, it is what it is, man. But, anyways, I did something that I'm pretty proud of, and I just felt like I had just so much to say about it. So I was like, I got to do a video. So I made a New Year's resolution. I made a few. I guess one of them, if you watch this channel, you're familiar with, because I talked about how, reading every week and doing these weekly reads and reading a lot more was one of them. Another one was video games. I'm a gamer, have been my whole life, and it was not necessarily just playing video games, but finishing video games, which is something that in my adulthood has become a problem. I've played a lot of games. I've not beaten a lot of games in the last, I don't know, let's just say 10 years, for example. So my goal was like, you got to change who you are and how you play, right? I'm the type that loves to go around and explore every little detail and every little crevice, and I can't. My OCD, my gaming OCD, if that's what you want to call it, is like I can't leave what is it, no stone unturned or whatever. And so it becomes really, really frustrating and really time consuming. And so as an adult, I've had to come to terms with the fact that, like, I can't play games like Fallout anymore, or there was like when The Witcher was like super popular. I was like, I don't have time for that kind of stuff. Elden Ring was one. Like, I don't have 100+ hours to put into a game. I just don't. And but I was like, you know what? Let me play some games. Forget the whole like I have to explore, I have to do this, I have to do that. Like, just play the main story, beat the game, so you can say that you beat it, and then go back. Like, go back and then do all the side quest stuff and all that. And so far, I mean, it's worked pretty well. I've beaten not a handful. I don't know, maybe 3 games or so this year. I have it on my Instagram. Like, I know Control was one. Oh, Alan Wake. Then I played Control, beat Control. I still gotta play the DLC so that I can then move on to Alan Wake 2. But Control, Alan Wake, Super Mario Wonder. I don't know what else at the moment. I consider Madden and now college football. Those should count because I play them enough to where, like, those count as beaten games. You can't technically beat the game, but I count it as I've beat the game. I've played them so much. So yeah, I think I'm missing one, but not a big deal. So anyways, I just completed another one, and I'm super hype about this one. I posted this on my Instagram already, but we are going to be talking about Deadly Premonition Origins by Axis Games there. And this one is, of course, for the Switch, where we welcome back to Greendale. That 10 out of 10 is insane, bro. Jim Sterling, what is you doing, man? How much did they pay you for that? How much did they pay you? So this is a game, my understanding, came out like in the Xbox 360 era, and I never heard of it, never played it. Basically, how I found out about it was one day, I don't know, it just like came up on my feed. Oh, this horror game that you should check out. And I was like, oh, okay, like, I'll check it out. I haven't really played like horror games, I mean, Resident Evil when I was a kid, but that was, and I was like, I'll check it out. And so I went on Amazon and I bought it. And it was funny because when I got it, so this was in 2021 was when I bought these. Shortly after, I'm guessing, because it came up on my feed, it came up on my dad's feed, and he was like, oh, I heard about this game, this horror game or whatever, and he was like, you should check it out, or I don't know if he sent me a link or whatever, and I was like, that's funny because I already bought it, like, I have it now. And I was like, yeah, I was going to check it out and let you know how it is. So, unfortunately, 3 years later, I can now tell him how, and everyone, how this is. So it took me 3 years to beat this. I said I bought it in 2021. I think most of us, we buy games and maybe we don't get to it. like I started playing this when I got it. That's the problem. Like when I got it in 2020, when I started playing this, and it's taken me that long, 3 years on and off of playing. I haven't played it for 3 years straight, but on and off of playing and not playing, and it all kind of ended today. Earlier today, I was able to finally beat this game. I don't know, man. If I had to give this a ranking, it's just mid. Like it's definitely mid. I'm gonna say like a 5, like mid 5. Something like that. Because there's a lot that I like about it. I'm gonna start with the positives. It is a horror game. It's got a ton of horror aspects in the sense of there is like boo pop out kind of moments between the dead that you're fighting and between the raincoat killer, which I'll get into later. So I guess I can get into it now. Like the raincoat killer is this villain who's going around killing people, right? And if you just imagine a dark figure, this red crimson type color, he's in a trench coat that's that color, but like black pants, black boots. The face is all completely black with just these bright red glowing eyes, and then the trench coat has a hood that he's wearing, and he just carries around this giant axe, and like the axe like drags on the ground, and he's got like a limp, but very like I want to say like demonic in a sense, with the blank face and the glowing eyes. And when he gets angry, he does like this yell and this roar. But there's like a bunch of moments, like the first couple moments when I wasn't expecting it at the time, and he'll just pop up out of nowhere, and then you have a quick time event of having to dodge his attack. Like a couple of those, like not like, oh my god, I threw my controller up in the air, I'm so scared, but like I was like, oh, okay. So a couple of those got me. There's other moments where little, maybe you hit a corner and a dead, I don't want to call them zombies, but I mean I guess they are. But one of the dead characters like pop up, or maybe like you're focused on one and then you get hit from behind on another one, and so like stuff like that. The elements and the aura of the game are definitely like have the horror aspect, and I do like that. So those would be my positives. Like the characters are entertaining. And then I don't know, I guess that would pretty much be like the overall story. If I were to overall say the story, yeah, I dig it. So those would be my positives. The problem is that the game has a ton of negatives. It's a big game in the sense of it took me 21 hours to beat this game. And from when I remember like looking up, at a certain point of one of my breaks, I was playing it for X amount of time, and I'm like, oh my god, how long is this game? And then I looked it up, and I think, it said it was somewhere around 20 something. And I was like, oh, okay. This was before this whole New Year's thing, and I was like, okay, I gotta like stop exploring everything. Like I can't, because it's gonna take me too long. And so, this year, this playthrough that I got, really serious about was like, yeah, let's just grind our way through this story. So it is long, which is great, but the problem is it lacks like depth to keep you there for that long. I shouldn't have had to Google like, how long is this game? I shouldn't be sitting here these last like 2 days that I grinded this thing out being like, when is it over? Like, when am I done? I just want to be done. Like, I wanted to just be done with this game, and that's not a good thing. And part of that is because it's 21 hours, but I kid you not, I could cut this thing down to like 15, because there's multiple reasons here. Number one, traveling. Traveling is probably my biggest gripe with this game. It's like this open world. I guess I should say the story. The story, very toned down description here. The story is you play Francis York Morgan / Zach, who's the main character. He's an FBI agent. He's come to this town because they found a lady murdered, and there's like some weird stuff going on. And so he comes down to investigate in this small town where there's a sheriff and a couple deputies, And so then the rest of the game is like you trying to solve this murder, but then more murders keep happening, and there's, it's this raincoat killer coming for him, and there's just like weird stuff going on in town, which I'm gonna get to in a minute. And so yeah, it's a murder mystery of like, who's the killer, who's killing these people, why are they killing these people, all that kind of stuff. And so there's this open world aspect because you can traverse the town. There's like collecting cards you can collect. Like there's a collecting aspect to the game. There's, you can travel around and go to the bar and go to a restaurant and talk to, kind of. I say semi-open world because it's not like, there's like mountains, right? And you can't just drive over a mountain to get to the next part of the map. Like you have to really, like you can really only follow the road. Like the game doesn't let you just freely open world it, but it's kind of like that open world where it wants to be, which brings me to another point of the map. Is probably one of my I have to dock a whole point for the map. The map has damn near zero zoom out functionality, and at certain points of this game, which it ties into this point that I'm making, you have to travel hella far to get to the next destination, and you can't even, there's like, you're traveling on a back road and then it splits. It takes you forever to go to the map and like follow this road to where that destination marker is, or maybe, okay, no, that's the wrong road, let me go all the way back and then follow this other one on the map screen, because it doesn't zoom out far enough to just tell me this is the direction that I need to go. And that's a pain in the ass throughout the whole game for me. And so that's one gripe for sure. But the whole traveling aspect, like there's no reason why I don't even, this game doesn't even need to be open world to me. And that's where you can cut off so much time, because it is just pointless driving from one side of the map to the other for the sake of the character having a conversation. Like, like Grand Theft Auto. I love Grand Theft Auto, my favorite series of all time. There's periods of time where you have to travel a long distance in that game, but the game puts other things there to capture your attention, or the conversations are really awesome, and sometimes they're designed to take the length of that trip. This is not like that. Like I said, it's not really open world, so you're kind of just traveling down this road. There is a conversation that can take place sometimes, but it's engaging, and then it's not the length of the travel. So then you're just sitting there just driving for no damn reason. And I'm telling you, if you cut that out of the game, you save a few hours right there. There are missions in the game where you're like following someone, or there was one where like he spawns as a little boy and he's like walking through this forest for no damn reason. Like you're talking to these characters along the way, and it's like this dream sequence, and it just takes forever, and there's no point of it. It doesn't need to be that long. There's another one where you're following someone. Don't need to follow them for this damn long. One of the boss missions is like you running around this circle, a maze, as they're chasing you, that's like 3 minutes long. It does not need to be that long. You're just making, it's not even that you're making it more difficult, it's just a pain in the ass. And that was a big problem with the game, is that some of the boss fights are super long for, again, no damn reason. Some of them, and I'll get to that. That was also my mistake. But like, there's no reason for this whole like guy chasing you down this circle staircase for that long to be that long. It's literally just that long for the sake of it. Like there's no point, because the game is repetitive. Dodge this, evade this, quick time events, like I said, hit this button and this button real quick or else you're going to take some damage. And like you're just running down this staircase for hella long. Now I'm getting sidetracked, but the point being, traveling takes too damn long in this game for no damn reason. There's certain missions that require you to just walk from here to here, or at one point you're a dog. There was one mission where you're the dog and you're like trying to sniff out someone's scent. I think you're the dog, or you're a character following the dog. It's like 5-10 minutes for, again, no damn reason. That's the theme of this game. It's like there's no damn reason for this stuff. And I'm telling you, you could cut out 5 hours of playtime with just, again, I don't even know that the game needs to be open world in the first place. I didn't need it to be, personally. Now, maybe if you like exploring, sure. But here's the other problem. It's not fun exploring when the controls of the game are awful. The driving was awful. And I thought maybe this was a Switch thing, but I've looked up reviews and it didn't have better reviews on the Xbox 360 either. The driving, now this might be the Switch thing, but it's like if I go to turn, I'm instantly spinning out because it's so sensitive the way that the driving mechanic is. The gunplay mechanic is like being at an arcade shooter. Like you have to you're slowly moving your gun. There's a little like aims. There's a like a laser beam that points off of your gun that you can kind of track, and then when you hit a target it changes the reticle, and so that's when you know that you're now locked on a target and can shoot. But it's like an arcade. Like I have to slowly aim to this person, get them, then I have to slowly aim to this other person and get them, and then it just is, it's terrible shooting mechanic. And that's a huge part of the game because a bunch of the game is, again, it gets repetitive after 20 hours of doing the same thing. Go to said, spot on the map, you go to it, you walk in a building, he's discovered that someone else is dead. So now he has to profile the crime scene. And sure, there's some great moments in between this of like investigating this or a puzzle here or something like that. That's cool. But it's basically walk down this hallway, kill a bunch of zombies, or, the undead, kill a bunch of the undead, and then through this terrible gameplay mechanic, and then, eventually build the profile to complete that mission. And, and then find out what happened story-wise. And it just, again, it gets repetitive. You're just killing the same undead types. Like, they don't do anything. Some of them run up on you and they attack you. Some of them have a gun and they'll slowly aim their gun to you, and if you shoot them before, then you're good. So it's just like, it gets repetitive. And sure, some of them move fast. Like when you aim at them, they move faster and they'll like close the gap to you hella quick. That's cool. Again, there are times where you kind of do get overwhelmed. And again, part of that is just due to the terrible mechanics. I'm focused on aiming on this person. My camera is only showing me that zoomed in angle of aiming, so maybe an undead gets me from behind, and like, but it just becomes very repetitive and you're just wanting this game to end. It is also very campy, corny, cheesy. It goes from, if I encourage you, not just shameless plug, but go to TheComicRaider on Instagram and view my post, because you'll see the music that I put on that post. That's from the game. It's like this, what is it, Andy, oh my gosh. The Andy Griffith show? The black and white cop show. Because it's like this whistling tune. And that plays throughout the whole game. And the interactions with some of the characters are just so corny and cheesy. One of the big things that you have to get over with this game is that it's like dealing with like two different worlds. And your character, the first thing you got to get over is your character, Francis York Morgan, goes by York, has an alternate personality called Zach that he talks to. But everyone else sees that he's talking. Hey, Zach, what do you think about this person? Hey, Zach, what do you think happened here on this crime scene? And you have to get over that like, it's kind of weird, it's funny. He has conversations with this alter ego of his, and then there's just funny, cheesy things that happen, interactions with other members of the town and everything like that. But you'll go from just horror, right? So whenever the weird part is, when he walks up on a crime scene, it turns into this very dark world. The world changes around you and it becomes very dark. And that's when like the undead appear, and you have to like fight your way through the undead, and then you get the stuff with the raincoat killer. But then once you now have completed that part of the mission, the world goes back to normal, and now you're just dealing with what you would call a normal crime scene. Now, the crime scenes do get crazier and crazier as the story goes on, and that's why I said, like, it is a horror game. But you'll go from that to literally walk out the door, and here goes this Andy Griffith theme song, and, some corny conversation between him and one of the deputies, and it, like, totally takes you out of the horror now. And It's kind of like The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the OG one, for those of you who've seen that. It's a horror movie, but it's super campy, corny, cheesy at moments of it as well. Like, it's like that. That's the vibes that I got from this. And so it totally like takes you out the mindset, and then you'll have this corny moment, and then you'll go right back into horror after that. And it's a very like, this is one of those games that if you've played it, it'll be in your mind for forever. I will never forget this game. And people like know this game for that reason, because it is hilarious. Shout out to my boy Shaggy. He said like it's hilarious. The game is just hilarious to him. It's bad, but it's hilarious. And it is. It's so bad that it's funny. It's so bad that it's good. But again, it just doesn't need to be that long. I think honestly, if this game is cut down to like 15 hours, I probably would honestly maybe now give it like a 7, because like the campiness of it's funny. Like, it's crazy that it goes from this horror element to that so quickly, and the music that plays is like, oh my gosh, what is this whistling super cheesiness that I'm listening to? It's funny. It makes the game in a sense, and I'd be open to that if, again, the controls weren't so terrible, the traveling wasn't so bad, all that kind of stuff. Because story-wise, it's cool. Character-wise, there's some funny characters in it. There's some good characters in it. There's a love story in the game. Dealing with your character having this split personality is also interesting, very much so. The ultimate build-up, of course, to who is the killer? Why are they the killer? How did all this stuff happen? How is it that this character walks into this crime scene and the whole world changes to this undead nightmare? Shout out Red Dead Redemption. And then but like nobody else notices it. Nobody else sees the world that way. It's only him. And then it goes right back into regular crime scene, and that's when everyone else shows up. Like, it has these weird elements where it's like he's almost moving to a new dimension or alternate reality as he's solving these crimes. And it's a trip. It's a trippy game. But like I said, it has its good and its bad. I will say, if you're interested in checking it out, my one tip for you, don't make the same mistake I did. Apparently, I didn't even know. And again, this is probably because I took so many breaks playing the game. I didn't know that there was a gun store in the game where you could buy like an assault rifle, a 357 Magnum gun. So I spent my time rocking a regular shotgun, an SMG, and the standard issue pistol throughout the whole game. Number one, could have made my job a lot easier by having the beefed up weapons. Number two, later on in the game, you kind of only start getting ammo for those weapons that I did not have. And so by the end of the game, you're like doing these boss battles, because I'm not going to spoil like who the killer ends up being for those of you who do want to play it. It's a good story though, and it's a good twist. Don't get me wrong. That part is awesome when you finally finish it out. But I didn't have those weapons, and by the end of the game, like there's so much going on from boss to boss to boss that you don't have time to go to the gun store, or if you do, it's closed in my case, and so I couldn't get them. And so I literally run out of ammo by the second boss fight. I run out of ammo for the shotgun and the SMG. I have the stupid pistol, which gives you unlimited ammo because it's a terrible pistol that barely does any damage. I already told you that the aiming reticle is god-awful. The gun mechanics are terrible. And I have to complete the second and the final boss with just a damn pistol because I have no ammo in my other guns. And the ammo that is being dropped during these boss battles are for the assault rifle and for the 357 Magnum. Do not make the same mistake I did. This literally made me spend probably at least another hour or 2 hours of gameplay, just pure time. Either I only died like once fighting each of them and restarted, because it's just so and I had to just be patient. I had to just sit here. The final boss battle was like 3 different parts, and it probably took me like 40 minutes, literally like 45 minutes to complete, because I'm barely like chipping down his health with this stupid pistol. And oh man, it was terrible. And then again, it's a long boss battle at certain parts for no reason. Um, but yeah, it's and it has its challenging moments. Like the game does not help you in the sense like when you are navigating through some of these mission levels, there's like puzzles that you encounter, and the game does not tell you like how you're supposed to solve this. You're supposed to just figure it out. And then the boss battle, like it doesn't tell you how, what is their weakness. You have to figure out what is this boss's weakness. Like what am I supposed to be aiming at here? Some are easier to determine than others, and with a pistol, it's god awful. And so, and pistol and terrible gunplay mechanics make it just hell for me. So don't make the same mistake I did. Buy the weapons. I don't care what they cost. I ended up with like $30,000 when the game ended for no damn reason because I didn't buy anything, and I just have all this money for nothing because I did not buy the ammo and the guns that I was supposed to, and it was just a pure waste of time. And so that is definitely what grinds my gears about this game and makes me give it the lower score. I think this game had the potential to be really, really good, but just flaws like that. Too damn long, terrible driving mechanics, terrible gun mechanics, and just simply did not need to be that long, and didn't even need to be open world. Again, that's my opinion. Maybe for those of you who did like spend your time traveling around, sure. No, not worth it. But that brings me to there's a second one. Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise. And this is the one, actually that's what it was. Mine's still sealed. This got released, and that was what made it like pop up on my feed and my dad's feed, and that's how we found out about this series. And so because of the second one, I was like, oh well, I have to go back and play the first one. So now I was like, okay, well, I gotta hop into the second one, right? I looked it up. The reviews are terrible. The reviews say that it is the same as the first one, which is bad. Like, the story's worse, the characters are not as good. That's already a negative, because, like, that kind of was the intriguing part of the first one. From my understanding, again, I haven't watched any videos yet. That's what I'm going to do after this. The gunplay mechanics don't change, so they don't get any better. The traveling doesn't get any better. Instead of cars, you have a skateboard. Your character has a skateboard that he's rolling around in. I'm already complaining about how long it took me to drive from one side of the map to the other, and you're going to throw me on a skateboard and make it even worse? And same exact thing. I looked it up. It's a 20-something hour game. So they didn't change much from the first to the second, which has me with no interest to play it now. Like, I told my wife I was going to start it. I just have to see it for myself. I have to see that it's not different, right? But if it's not, I can't. I really don't know that I ever will get to it, because I did enjoy the game, but again, it took me 3 years, because at times it becomes so like, I gotta put this game down. Like, I'm not having fun, and then like I said, I grinded these last 3 days trying to play it, because I was just trying to rush through and just beat it. I just wanted to be done with this damn game. And I was hoping, because the second one was going to be awesome. Fix the mechanics, fix the driving, fix all that. Have a hell of a game. No, apparently it's not. So, if you've played the second one, let me know your thoughts. Does it change or not? And if you've played either of them, man, let me know. Because, yeah. Let me know your thoughts. Was it good? Did you enjoy it? How do you think my review is? Is it accurate? Is it not accurate? Let me know. In the meantime, I think I might skip that one. Little tease for those who want to know. This is not my kind of game, but again, it popped up on an ad when it released for the Switch, so I bought it. Astral Chain. I heard this is a damn good Switch game. Not my kind of game, but I heard it was awesome. It looks amazing on the Switch. It plays really cool, so I might crack this open. This is also sealed. I might open this and play this game instead, which if you're familiar with this one, let me know in the comments below and tell me how badly I need to start playing this one instead. So I am out, man. Comic Raider is out, baby. Deuces. Thank you all.